Okay, so what I was gonna say was I've learned the hard way that you can't just name colors after friends because then sometimes you lose those friends. Like some colors I've had to discontinue. So, Stu. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am going to be doing a Q&A get ready with me. I don't have any makeup on and my hair is just from the day before. So I'm going to be doing my hair and makeup and just kind of answering questions from you guys. I did a story on Instagram asking you guys to ask me questions. So I'm going to be answering those while I get ready, and then I will just kind of go through all of this with you and we are going to get started. I did one of these oh gosh, it's probably been over a year. And I've done a few of these, but things have changed since then. Obviously, I have new questions to answer and my routine has kind of changed a little bit. So I thought I would film an updated version. So if you're interested in watching this, stay tuned. Okay, first things first is I'm gonna pull my hair back on the sides. I got these like headband things from Free People that I use at home and on trips that like is like a full like, I don't even know, I'll insert a picture here because I don't even know how to describe it, but it like pulls all my hair away. And I use those pretty much every day to get ready, but I'm at the salon today so I don't have it. So I am just gonna pull my hair back with clips and then I'm gonna start with my makeup. Oh, my head. What do you feel like?
I'm not like starving.
Yeah,
so I can't like think of anything that I'm
trying to think of like something close that sounds good. Oh, gosh, why can't I think of anything?
I like everything.
Yeah, seriously. I'm so sick of Chick-fil-A. I've had that like every day. Noodles and Company. Okay, so I don't have my own makeup here today, but here in my office, we have a huge makeup and hair stash for when we get ready for photo shoots and things like that. So I'm just gonna be using the makeup I have at the salon. So I'm gonna start off with this e.l.f. It's a Glow Radiant Moisturizer. So I'm just gonna do that to kind of prep my skin. Typically, I will use some type of primer or something like that just to kind of get everything to stick and stay in place. This one is really moisturizing. It's really nice because here in Utah, everything is so dry in the winter and my skin dries out so fast. I have to have like chapstick constantly and moisturizer all the time. So this one's really good, and it also has like a glowy effect, which is really nice because I love like the glowy dewy look. Okay, now that that is on, we're gonna move to foundation. So I like to use a few different foundations. I kind of jump around between my favorites, but recently I've really been loving the Milani one. I get it at Target or Ulta. It's called Conceal and Perfect, and it's foundation and concealer in one. And because of that, it has really, really good coverage. So I'm gonna be using a little bit of that. I also really like the Becca 24-hour foundation. I use that one a lot as well. And then recently I've been using one of the MAC foundations too. And I kind of just jump around depending on what type of coverage I'm looking for that day. And I like to get spray tans once a week. So pretty much I'm always spray tanned because I feel like without one I look hideous. So because of that, my foundation color is usually a little bit darker. I do have a few different foundations at home, ones to match when I don't have a spray tan, and then I have ones to match when I do. But like I said, I get spray tans once a week, and then I will typically keep up with my spray tan by using like an at-home tanner, and I will put pictures of the ones I use and then link them below as well. I do a face and a body just to kind of maintain during the week. Okay guys, so I'm just doing under eye concealer now. So basically I just do a lighter concealer color and I do it underneath my eyes, and then I do a little bit on my chin and then a little bit on my forehead. And this just kind of draws the light to those areas that you want to be pulled up. So I am using a beauty blender to just kind of get that in. I love using sponges for concealer and even my foundation sometimes. Okay, so that is on. I'm gonna start the contouring and all that, but I'm gonna start answering questions. Okay, so I'm just gonna be reading these off of my Instagram. I have them all pulled up, and I'm just gonna be doing that while I do my makeup. So first question is, how did you do maternity leave as a stylist? I'm 7 months pregnant and have no game plan. This is really hard because in our industry, if you don't work, you don't get paid. It's not like stylists get maternity leave or anything like that. I know a few of our stylists over the years, we had like booth runners before, and when they took maternity leave, they still had to pay rent just to hold their spot. And that kind of sucks, you know? I mean, as a salon owner, it made sense because it's kind of like when you're renting a house, just because you go on vacation doesn't mean you don't have to pay your mortgage or your rent. But as a stylist, that's really hard. So same thing goes with like commission. If you're not taking clients, you're not getting paid. So I would say if you're planning on getting pregnant, or if you are, kind of come up with a game plan of how long you want to take, and then just try to plan for that so that you can financially make it work. But everyone's different. Well, my situation was actually super different because I was 9 months pregnant, like right when COVID hit. So I ended up having my baby like a month after the shutdowns and everything. So I ended up having to stop working anyway because of that. But I stopped working about 8 months in, and that was awesome for me because, you know, the bigger you get, it's kind of uncomfortable and it's harder to work on your body. But I've also known people who have worked right up to their due date. So I would just say before you have your baby, kind of play it by ear, but it's usually safe to do at least 2 weeks before your due date. You know, take that off just in case you do go into labor, and you also don't want to push your body too much. And then I also wasn't doing hair behind the chair as much when I had my baby. I've kind of transitioned more into like the business side of things. So I didn't really have to go back for clients, but as a stylist, I would say 8 weeks is probably ideal because then you can do like a cycle with your clients. So if you only take like 6 to 8 weeks off, then you can do their appointments right before you leave, and then you can do them when you get back, or you can refer them to someone else you trust in your salon or someone you know to do one while you're gone and then come back. And I would just set those up for when you know you're coming back so that you can just get right back into it. But it kind of just depends on you and your situation and how much time you're wanting to take off. And then I always think that easing back into it is good. So like if you usually work 3 to 4 days a week, try easing back in with 2 to 3 days and kind of go from there. I will say being a working mom is hard. If this is your first baby and you're doing maternity leave, make sure you have a plan because balancing kids and work and family and everything can be really hard. The next one says, how do you manage your time with social, boutique, clients, and everything else you do? This is probably the most requested question I get, and the answer is honestly, I have no idea. I feel like I have so much going on and I'm constantly all over the place, and I've had to learn how to like balance and delegate my life because if I didn't, I would be at work 24/7. I'm just kind of that person. And since having a baby, I've had to learn how to kind of like balance my time and give some things up and delegate other things. So luckily my sisters and my mom and the other girls we have working here run everything as far as like shipping and warehouse and the business and customer service. So I don't have to do too much with that. Obviously I'm involved, but day to day that is like their job. So I'm really lucky and blessed to have a lot of help, but I do all of our marketing, all of our Instagram, YouTubes, stuff like that. And we have 5 different Instagram accounts. So I'm doing all of that. Plus I'm doing like editing and emails and back office stuff, education, and you know, just the list goes on and on. And my biggest piece of advice is try to delegate as much as you can if you're in that situation. And then also just balancing, like coming up with a list of what's most important, what means the most to you, and then just kind of going down from there. I think the biggest thing has been having help. I have assistants that I have that work with me. I have nannies that help with Jagger, and that's awesome because then I can kind of split my time and my focus. So when I'm with Jagger, I'm with him. Like when I'm at home at nighttime, I try to focus 100% on him, and then when I'm at work, I can focus 100% here. And that's been really nice that I can do that because not a lot of working moms can, and it is really hard to balance. But yeah, just finding a balance is really hard, but you just kind of have to make a list of what's important to you and just kind of try to focus it there. Favorite place to buy Jagger's clothes? Oh my gosh, I'm addicted to buying baby clothes. It's so bad. Recently I did like a big haul on Baby Gap because they had a Black Friday sale, and that was amazing. I got a lot of cute stuff for him. I love Zara for little boys. They have like the cutest things ever. And then H&M, Cotton On Kids. There's a few other like boutiques I follow on Instagram. I'll link all of them in the description box below so you can check them out. But I'm really into like neutral vibes for him, and just like really like kind of like grown-up clothes for boys. Like he has Carhartt beanies and stuff like that. So he has a lot of cute clothes, and it sucks when they're babies because they grow out of things so fast. Like I'll buy all these cute things and he only wears them like twice because he's just growing so constantly. So that's the only downside to baby clothes. More babies in the future. Jagger is absolutely perfection. Thank you. I go back and forth on this. I talk to Jordan about this all the time because there's times when I'm like, okay, I think I do want another one, especially in the future when he's older. I know I'm going to get baby hungry, and I kind of do want like a little girl. We do have Jordan's daughter, who's now my daughter too, but she's older and she's at such a fun age, but I kind of want to have like a little girl like when they're 2 and 3 and they play dress up. It's so cute. So if I could guarantee that my next one was a girl, I'd probably do it. But then again, I'm so busy that I'm like, I don't even know how I would handle it because right now it's even hard. So I know as time goes on, it'll get easier and as Jagger gets older and stuff. But honestly, I would say I'm 50-50 right now with having more kids. Me and Jordan go back and forth every day on it. So I have no definite answer to that, but hopefully, you know, whatever's meant to be will happen. Not a question, but advice on starting out as an assistant. Ooh, this is a good one. So when you're an assistant, I would just say soak up everything you can. Be willing to learn, be willing to work hard. When I'm looking for an assistant, that's really the biggest thing I look for is someone who has a good work ethic, who can be good with clients, who can just like jump right in and learn. And, you know, just someone who's just eager to like know everything. That's really what I look for. Because if you have a personality like that, it's easier to learn, you know? So like I can teach someone who's willing, but if they're not willing, it's a little bit harder. So I would just say, you know, do the best you can to read that person's mind, go above and beyond. Even if they don't ask you to do something, do it anyway. If there's dishes in the sink, do it, you know, just kind of go above and beyond and be that person that goes the extra mile, because that will go a long way in your own education because you'll get more out of your experience assisting. But also if you're looking to get a job and you're assisting people, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, she's a hard worker. She's doing this, this, and this, and you're more likely to get hired there. Okay. Favorite part about being a mom, you make it look effortless. Thank you. It's definitely not. As you moms know, it's a lot of work and it's really hard. But on Instagram, all you see is like the highlight reel, right? But I really do love it. I think it, you know, becomes kind of like a natural thing for most moms because once you have your child, it's just like, it is effortless in a sense because you just love them so much that even the hard work is just not even that bad because you would do anything for them. So honestly, like everything about it is my favorite. I would say my most favorite thing is just seeing how he grows. Like every milestone is so bittersweet because he's getting older, and I look back at like newborn pictures and I'm like, he was so little. But at the same time, like when he does something new, like he's learning to laugh and crawl and he's interacting more, it's just so fun to like see his personality come out and like kind of visualize what he's going to look like and what he's going to be like. So that's probably my favorite part, is just experiencing him growing up. Okay, next question is, how were you able to build your team at your salon? It's hard to find the right people. I would say, so I've been doing this about 4 years, and there's lots of trial and error when it comes to owning a business and hiring employees and finding the right fit. And something that's important to know, whether you're in the salon industry or any industry in general, is there's always going to be turnover. You're never going to have the same team your whole time you're in business. You know, that's just kind of life, and that's okay. I think that's something that I wish I could go back and tell myself, is it's okay if people quit. It's okay if you have to fire someone. It's okay if your team evolves and changes. My salon team has done that. My back office team has done that. My education team has done that. And over time, you will try to, you know, hone in on like what you want in an employee, and you'll find the right fit. I have definitely had employees that were not the right fit, and you learn from those experiences, you know, and maybe some people were meant to work for you for a certain reason. So you learn things, or, you know, like they needed to work for you for that time, and then it's time for them to move on, whether it's for them or for you. And that's okay. You know, I've had people leave that now booth rent elsewhere, and that's just the step they needed to take in their career because we don't offer booth rent. And that's like a totally normal thing in our industry. So I think it is good to just kind of know that going into it. But also, be really picky when you're hiring. In the beginning, when I was like first starting out, I feel like I just hired anyone who interviewed because I was like, I just need people to work for me. And that's not a good thing because then you just end up hiring people that may not be a good fit. So when we do interviews now, we have me and my sister who's like head of operations, and then our salon manager, Asia, and we all sit in on the interview and we have a list of questions that we ask them, and we kind of take turns asking them. We have like certain things I ask, certain things Kira does, certain things Asia talks about, and then we have them answer questions, and we kind of make them a little bit hard so that we can get an idea of how they would answer things or handle things. And then if it's a stylist we're looking for, we do that interview where it's sit down. And then if we like them, we bring them in for like a hands-on interview where we have them do a client at the salon, and we just pretend that it's a normal work day. So they bring their client in, they do it. We get to observe how they interact with their client, how they do the hair and things like that. And then if we end up liking them and we hire them after that, they go through an assisting program. So basically they assist 2 of our educators. So right now it's Stu and Addie who do this. And they work with them for anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks, and they assist. They learn all of our methods, the way we do things, how they check out their clients. It's kind of like a crash course in how things work here. And then they do pass-offs with their educators and then me. So their educators will like teach them things, and then they'll do a final pass-off with me before they can go out on the floor. And then once they're on the floor, they're a stylist. And I feel like that process has really helped kind of like shape the type of person we're trying to hire and kind of build us a really strong team. And since we've started doing this, our last few hires have been incredible. So I would say definitely have a really good hiring process because it does make a difference. And you kind of want to build an atmosphere and like a little salon family so that clients feel that when they walk in. Everyone here is like good friends and everyone gets along, and I feel like the clients pick up on that. And if there's drama at your salon, the clients will pick up on that as well. And I obviously have had drama at my salon with people who have worked for me, and you know, no salon is like immune to that. It's going to happen. But if you pick the right people to work for you, then usually it's going to be all right. All right, next question is, what's Baby J's sleep like now? This is a good question. So I did our nighttime routine here on YouTube a few months ago. I will link that video in the description box below as well. And our nighttime routine is pretty much the same. And we are really lucky because he sleeps like an angel. I put him down at like 8:30 every night. We do a bath. We do like lotion and his jammies. Sometimes we'll read a book. I always have lullabies playing while we do this. And then I just put him to sleep with a bottle. And then he usually is just out. Sometimes he'll wake up like an hour or 2 after that if his binky falls out, and then I'll just put it back in and he's out again. So luckily he sleeps really, really well. We got lucky with that. And he sleeps through the night. He's been doing that since he was 2 months old. And he usually sleeps until like 8:30 or 9. So we typically get like 10-hour stretches, if not more, which is awesome. And like this morning I had to wake him up. So it's just so funny. He's like a teenager. So he sleeps really well. So if you're wanting to look at our nighttime routine, I will link that so you guys can get some tips. Okay, next question is, can you talk about the pros and cons of clip-ins? Yes, so we offer clip-ins here at Jessi Styles, and clip-ins are a really great option for clients that want something a little more low maintenance. They don't have to come in to get them moved up. They can take them in and out themselves. So if you're someone who doesn't want to wear them every day and who doesn't want to come in for maintenance, clip-ins are going to be perfect for you. If you just want to wear them for like an event or, you know, just when you're wanting longer hair. But if you are someone who wants to have long hair every day, I would say that clip-ins are not the way to go, because it does become kind of a pain to take them in and out if you're doing it all the time. And you can't sleep on them either because the clips will kind of get ruined if you do that, and it will create damage. So you end up having more day-to-day maintenance if you do it that way. So I would just say clip-ins are great for someone who just wants them occasionally. But they really are great for adding like extra length and fullness for like certain updos or styles or photo shoots or, you know, things like that. And the nice thing about clip-ins is since you're not washing them as often or sleeping on them, they do last a lot longer. So a lot of our clients who have gotten clip-ins will end up having them for like 2 years, which is awesome. And you can check those out on our website. I have all of the links to like shop on Jessi Styles below, so you guys can check that link out there. What made you take the leap to open your salon financially, and how did you know it was time? This one's hard because I feel like with anything in life, there could always be an excuse not to do it, you know? Like there's always going to be times you don't feel ready and sometimes you just got to do it. And I'm that personality where I just tend to jump into things. So it's probably not good, but I'm just like, yeah, let's do it. So for me, I was just kind of like, I'm going to do this. And once I have that idea in my head, I just do it. And luckily I had my dad as a business partner to kind of help financially in the beginning and also, give me like financial advice because I had no idea what it took to run a business in the beginning. So luckily I had a good business partner and that helped a lot. But I would say with anything I've done, whether it was opening my salon or starting the extension company or starting a YouTube channel, or a podcast or whatever I've done, it's more just been like, I'm going to do it. Like I never think twice about it. So I know that can be kind of a bad thing sometimes, but it can also be a good thing. Because I know on the flip side, there are people who get so worked up about like the pros and cons and what if, and that they never do it. So I would just say that if you honestly feel like you are ready, just take the leap and do it and get as much help as you can, whether it's like talking to a lawyer or an accountant about the financials of it, because you will need help. It's a lot once you get into it. Okay, do you think you will ever add more colors of extensions? Yes, definitely. So when we started our extension line, we only had 14 colors to start out, and we now have 29, I believe, and I think we do have a really good range. We have reds, we have ombres, brunettes, blondes, solid darks, and I think we have a lot of range for most every client, and then they also can be custom toned and colored. So I feel like we pretty much have everything we need, but I do have a few other ideas that I'm working on as well. I feel like I'm always coming up with like new shades that I want to be really unique. We've created a few shades for our line that are kind of unique that I haven't seen other companies do, like the Desmond. I've never seen that anywhere else, and it's like one of our most popular colors because it's beautiful. So I'm constantly wanting to kind of come out with new shades like that that are just unique to us, and then also giving more options. Like I know we have 3 reds in our line, but I know that there are like more that we could do with that, like balayaged reds and stuff like that. So I'm kind of thinking of ideas like that as well. If there is a shade that you want in our line, please let me know in the comments below because I would love to work on that. It's kind of funny because if you guys know anything about my extensions, you know that I name them after people in my life or characters on TV shows because we don't like using just like the number system because it can get kind of confusing. So because of that, they all have unique names and descriptions. So for example, we have the Cora, which is a powdered sugar, and then we have Sky Vanilla Frosting, Christina Black Licorice. So that way you can get really familiar with the colors, and I think it's a little easier to memorize them that way rather than like 1822 and 1B, 99J. That can get really confusing, especially because extensions don't go by like the level system. So for example, a Bentley is a 2, but it's not a level 2 in the color system. So it can be confusing that way, which is why we decided to name them different colors. So I would say the hardest part right now about coming up with new colors is honestly naming them because, you know, I only have so many people in my life, and it's like just kind of funny because you have to kind of constantly be thinking of new names and stuff. And also I've learned the hard way. I was just about to talk about you. Do you want to come tell them the deal we made? Okay, so what I was gonna say was I've learned the hard way that you can't just name colors after friends because then sometimes you lose those friends. Like some colors I've had to discontinue. So, Stu, but what I was going to say is Stu has been begging me for a color, and since I've lost some friends that I've named colors after, I told him the only way that he can get a color named after him is if he tattoos my name on his body.
And I'm gonna do it.
He's gonna do it, so we'll see. So I feel like that's the only way that I would feel okay if we ever stop being friends, because I'd be like, well, I have a color named Stu, but you have my name on you, so. So I think we're actually gonna do that soon. Are you excited?
I'm so excited. I love tattoos.
Yeah.
I haven't had a tattoo in like a year.
It's gonna be great. So yeah,
Jessi with a heart, like the mom.
with Jessi in it. I love it. So stay tuned. You may see a Stu coming soon. Someone said, this is so random, but what kind of dogs do you have? F1 or F2? So I have 2 golden doodles, and they're the best dogs ever because they're so loyal, so happy, and they don't shed, which is honestly the reason I got them. And I have Bentley, and he is a standard golden doodle. So he is half golden retriever, half poodle. So he's an F1. And then Beckham is an F2 because he is a mini golden doodle and he's a second generation. So he's half golden doodle, half retriever. So he actually has like more of like the poodle doodle side to him, and you can tell because his hair is curlier. And I don't know if it's like a mini thing or an F2 thing, but he has like major anxiety, and I've heard that a lot of minis or like F2s have that. And then Bentley on the flip side is like so chill. So it's funny how they can be almost the same breed, but they're like so different. But fun fact about my dogs is Beckham is actually Bentley's nephew. So Bentley, I got him like 5 years ago now. And then Bentley's mom's sister had a litter and Beckham was in that litter. So Bentley and Beckham are uncle and nephew, which is kind of cute, but really they're just brothers. And they're the best dogs ever. I love them. Okay, what do you do with your extensions any night to keep them nice while you sleep? This is a good one, and I feel like I need to do either like an Instagram video or a YouTube video on like extension hair care. But there's a few different things I recommend. The first one would be sleeping in a low ponytail or braid. You want to make sure that your extensions don't get tangled, because if you sleep crazy, it's really easy to get them matted, and they're just going to be a little harder to deal with if that's the case. And then also sleeping on a silk pillowcase really does make a huge difference. Using oil on your mids to ends, using professional product like good shampoos and conditioners, that's always really important. And then brushing them constantly, that makes a huge difference as well. We do have a travel brush at Jessi Styles that you can buy on our website, and I always recommend keeping something like that in your purse, because during the day your hair can get tangled really easily, especially around like the nape, and you want to be like brushing them just to make sure that they stay really nice. So those are like a few of the things I do off the top of my head, but I will do like a whole extension hair care video for day and night. I think that would be a really good idea. What keeps you so motivated? You have so many projects and so much energy, it seems. Honestly, I feel like that's just part of my personality. I feel like I'm super like go, go, go. Like I'm always on to the next thing, and it can be a bad thing sometimes, because sometimes I'll get so excited about the next thing that I like don't put in the time and effort to focus on what I'm doing currently. So one of my goals for the new year is to like not do anything new and just focus on what I have. And who knows if that'll actually happen, but that's something I'm really trying to do. But I think it really helps if you have like a passion for what you do and you're excited about what you're doing, because if that's the case, then you're going to be excited about working on it and doing the next thing. So I would say whatever you're working on, just make sure you are excited about it and you're passionate about it and you believe in it, because that makes a huge difference. Okay, so now that I'm done with my makeup, I'm going to start my hair. I'm going to be using this Batiste dry shampoo. I ordered this online because it's for dark hair, and since I went dark, I need something to kind of give me, some freshening up between shampoos, but with dark hair, it's a little different. I've been using my blonde dry shampoo and it's just not the same. So I'm just going to put that in my root area. I feel like my hair gets so greasy so fast because I use so many hair products. Wow, lovely. I use so many hair products like every day just to maintain like my style. Like I love taffy and oil and stuff like that. So dry shampoo is my best friend so that I don't have to wash my hair every day. I try to wash my hair once a week, honestly, because I hate washing my hair, but sometimes I'll go every 4 to 5 days, just depending. But dry shampoo is like the best way to ensure that you do not have to wash it very often. So now that I've got that worked in, luckily I don't have to do much. I curled my hair, I washed it and curled it yesterday. So it's pretty fresh and the style held pretty well. That's like the nicest thing about extensions is you can curl your hair one day and just kind of like let it fall looser each day and just touch it up a little bit. So luckily I don't have much to do. I just need to like run a flat iron through it and maybe put some product in it, and then I'll be good to go. So honestly, extensions are the best for that reason. I always say that they're kind of high maintenance to be low maintenance, because yes, you have to go get them moved up and you have to get them installed and stuff like that, but day to day, it's a lot less maintenance to have them because it's so much easier to style your hair. So I am using a little bit of pomade for my bangs. You guys know, if you followed me forever, that I love the Kenra texturizing taffy. I talk about it all the time. That's like one of my favorite go-to products for my hair, especially because I have little flyaways and baby hairs from having a baby, and it just kind of helps keep everything in place. I have that at home, but here I have the Fat Boy stuff, and I actually really like this as well. So I'm using that just to kind of like smooth down my hair and kind of get my bangs to stay. And then once I'm done like putting that where I need it to, I'll also just kind of like run it through my ends. And I feel like this kind of just helps like set my style. And then I'll just kind of go through and hairspray everything. And then I'll usually put oil on my mids to ends. And that's really all I do. I will do like a full like how I curl my hair and how I actually style it in another video. But today all I had to do was touch it up, which is really nice. All right, what is your best advice for building a clientele? Oh gosh, I could go on about this one. I need to probably do a podcast more dedicated to this because it's such a good subject and I get asked about it all the time. But basically my biggest piece of advice is say yes to everything that you can and don't be afraid to self-promote. You want to make sure that you're obviously building the clientele that you want. Like if you want to do extensions and color, you're going to want to be focusing on clients like that. But at the same time, you don't want to turn a client away if you're trying to build one. So, you know, let's say someone comes in for a pixie cut and that's not really your thing, but if you do it, they could have a friend or a sister who wants extensions that they're going to refer to you. So just make sure that you say yes to every opportunity that you can. Work late nights, work Saturdays. I know that sucks, but if you put in the hard work in the beginning, you're going to be able to have a little more freedom in the future where you can build your own schedule and not have to do those days once you've built up your clientele. So it kind of just takes that hard work in the beginning and then you're going to be able to get to where you want to be. Also, as far as self-promoting goes, don't be afraid to hand out business cards, have a referral program, post. It kind of is scary because you're just promoting yourself, and especially if you're like a booth runner or you're your own boss, it could be scary to be like, come to me, I'm the best, you know, and that can be really intimidating. But just don't be afraid to like make yourself known out there and put yourself out there and put your work out there, because that's really the only way you're going to build a clientele these days. Instagram is such a big platform and it's how so many stylists have built their businesses, and because of that you kind of have to stay competitive on Instagram. And I did talk about this a little bit on the podcast last week. I will link that episode below as well, because I talked about the 5 things I recommend doing to stand out on Instagram and help yourself build a clientele that way. All right, the next question I got was advice for handling criticism. This one's hard. I don't even know if I'm qualified to answer this because I still struggle with it. It's gotten easier over the years. I've been online for like 4 years now, and I'm so used to getting hard comments by now. I get nasty comments on YouTube, on Instagram, and at first it was kind of just about like the hair I would do and stuff like that. And that always hurt because it was like, oh, like I loved what I did. And do I suck at hair if someone doesn't like it, you know? But now that I'm like more out there online and I'm putting my personal life out there, sometimes I'll get comments about that as well. And that can be hard because as I've had friendships that I put online and things happen, like my divorce I put online, and everything that's happened in my life I've kind of put out there. And because of that, people think that they know everything that happened, even though they don't even know half of it. And that can be hard because sometimes it's not always my place to tell my story because it involves other people. So I think the hardest thing about criticism is sometimes you can't defend yourself the way you want to. And honestly, it's pointless to try to defend yourself to every negative comment, because someone who's leaving negative comments obviously has something wrong with themselves or their life. They're unhappy in some way. And I know that that's like cliche advice, but I will say it's true because I actually have gotten a few hate comments that I've responded to. And then after I've responded, the person has messaged me directly and apologized and been like, sorry, I was in a really bad place. Like I took my anger out on you. So it was really big of them to do that, but it just kind of shows that it always comes from somewhere deeper. And I heard a quote one time that said, if someone's leaving you a negative comment or criticizing you, just think about, would you rather be them or be you? Because if you're them, you're hiding behind a keyboard bullying someone. And if you're you, you're putting yourself out there, you're trying your best, and you're doing something that someone's probably jealous of. So that helped me a lot because I'm like, that's true. If anyone's leaving you a negative comment, it's usually because there's something wrong with them. So I think just kind of like over the years, it's become a little easier to handle the criticism because it happens a little more often and I've learned how to ignore it. But there still are things that sting, and when that happens, just know that you do have people that love you and people that actually know you and who you are, and it doesn't mean anything, you know, so just try to take it as a learning lesson. All right, you guys, that was my little Q&A get ready with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I got a lot more questions, but I did not want this video to be like an hour long. It's already going to be so long, so I'm going to cut it off right here, and then I will do a part 2 if you guys would like to see that. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I will leave all of those right here. Let me know what types of videos you guys would like to see in the future. I upload 3 times a week, and I'm wanting to make sure it's always content you guys are wanting. Thank you so much for watching this video, and have a great day.